Hi friends, before we begin multipole expansion of vector potential, let's find the vector potential outside an infinite solenoid. So let's consider this to be an infinite solenoid. Okay, this is the let this be the z axis. It is having a current I, this be the radius r, and n is the number of turns per unit length. We already saw the vector potential for distance inside the solenoid, right? That is for s less than r, or you can say small r less than r for this distance. That came out to be A is equal to mu naught number of turns I divided by 2 in the phi hat direction. Now for r greater than r, I hope you already solved this, but then again, for a radius which is this is not nice. For a radius which is greater than the capital R, we can use integration a bar dot dl bar is equal to integration b bar dot dA. Now, even though outside the solenoid the magnetic field is 0, this region consists of the entire part, right? So here we have magnetic field mu naught Ni in the region only pi capital R square. And we need to find the vector potential at a distance small r, right? That is dr will be 2 pi r. Pi and pi cancels, and then we have A is equal to mu naught Ni r squared divided by 2 into small r phi hat. So here we can see that inside the solenoid the vector potential is directly proportional to r, whereas outside the solenoid it is inversely proportional to r. So inside the solenoid A varies as r, and outside the solenoid A varies as 1 by r. Now we will look into the multipole expansion of this vector potential. We have already seen in electrostatics the multipole expansion of the electric potential or the scalar potential V, which was in the EMT video part 6. Okay. Similarly, the multipole expansion of the vector potential A in magnetostatics is the expansion of this vector potential due to localized current distribution in powers of 1 by r. And as we had seen in electrostatics, V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught summation n equals to 0 to infinity 1 by r raised to n plus 1 integration r dash the whole raised to n p n cos theta rho of r dash d tau dash. Here the multipole expansion of vector potential A bar at a distance r is equal to, that is at the point P, is equal at this point P is mu naught I by 4 pi summation n equals to 0 to infinity 1 by r raised to n plus 1 closed integration r dash the whole raised to n p n cos theta d l dash. That is, here 1 by epsilon naught we write as mu naught, rho of r dash here we write as the current I, and d tau dash we write as d l dash. So the first term goes as 1 by r, which is the monopole term. The second term goes as 1 by r squared, which is the dipole term, and then we have the quadrupole term and so on and so forth. This first term, which is the monopole term, is 0. Why is the first term 0? The first term is 0 because it gives rise to this type of integration dl dash equals to 0, because it is a closed loop, and that's good. Why? Because magnetic monopoles do not exist. The second term, which is the dipole term, is A dipole at a distance r is equal to, or at point P is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi r squared integration, because this becomes 1 plus 1 r squared, closed integration r dash the whole raised to n Pn cos theta, P1 cos theta is cos theta into cos theta into this dl dash as it is. This can also be simplified and it can be written as a dipole is equal to, or again, mu naught upon 4 pi m bar cross r hat upon r squared. This m bar is called as the magnetic dipole moment. Just like we had electric dipole moment P bar, here we have magnetic dipole moment m bar. And this magnetic dipole moment is equal to current I into area A. That is nothing but the current into the vector area. So if we have a circular loop in the xy plane, let's just consider like this, some circular loop in the xy plane with current I going like this. This is xy and z axis with the current I in the anti-clockwise direction. Then here m bar will be equal to current I into vector area, and let this the radius of this be A. So this area will be pi a square. Vector area means what is the direction of area? Curl of this direction is upwards z hat. So this is showing that the direction of m is perpendicular to the current, so m is in upwards direction. So this is the direction of the magnetic dipole moment m. Thus every current carrying loop is a magnetic dipole. Also, magnetic dipole m bar is independent of the choice of origin. In electrostatics, what did we see? In electrostatics, we saw that P bar electric dipole moment will be independent of origin only when the monopole term will be equal to 0. But in the magnetostatic case, the magnetic monopole is always 0, right? Therefore, m bar is always independent of the choice of origin. Also, m bar is equal to half integration over curve C current I into r bar cross dl bar, or it will be half integration k bar r bar cross k bar dA, or it will be half integration r bar cross j bar d tau. Let's come back to potential now. We have already seen V dipole is equal to P bar dot r hat upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Here A dipole, which we just saw, is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi m bar cross r hat upon r square. How you can remember this is, again 1 by epsilon naught will become mu naught, r square remains as it is, p will change to m and r hat remains r hat. But this is a scalar quantity, we had a dot product. This is a vector quantity, therefore we have a cross product here. Next, E dipole was P upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube 2 cos theta r hat plus sin theta theta hat. Here B dipole, magnetic field due to the dipole, is m mu naught upon 4 pi r cube, or you can say mu naught m upon 4 pi r cube. Same thing, 2 cos theta r hat plus sin theta theta hat. It's easy to remember if you know the formulas of the electrostatics. Now we will consider the force and the torque which is acting on a magnetic dipole. In uniform magnetic field, we know case 1, in uniform magnetic field, the net force acting on the dipole will be equal to 0, and then torque will be equal to m bar cross b bar. There it was, tau was P bar cross E bar. Here it is M bar cross B bar, that is nothing but MB sine theta. Theta is angle between M and B. Now this is also the torque for any localized current distribution in the presence of uniform magnetic field. And it is also the torque about the center of a perfect dipole of infinitesimal size in non-uniform magnetic field. And it is also the torque about the center of a perfect dipole of infinitesimal size in non-uniform magnetic field. So in non-uniform magnetic field, the net force is not equal to 0. Then we have the magnetic energy of the dipole U, which is equal to minus M bar dot B bar. There we had U is equal to minus P bar dot E bar. Here it is minus M bar dot B bar, that is minus MB cos theta. This is the magnetic energy of the dipole. Then F will be equal to minus del bar into U, that is minus del bar, minus minus will become plus. We will have del bar M bar dot B bar, that is F. When we have 2 point charges separated by a distance r, q1, q2, we have seen this, then the interaction energy between these two charges is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square. When we have two dipoles p1 p2 separated by a distance r, then the interaction energy is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube p1 bar dot p2 bar minus 3 p1 dot r hat into p2 dot r hat. Now if we have two magnetic dipoles again separated by a distance r, then the interaction energy will be 1 by mu naught upon 4 pi r cube m1 bar dot m2 bar minus 3 m1 dot r hat into m2 dot r hat. Let's look at an example now. Let's say we have two magnetic dipoles, magnetic dipole 1 and magnetic dipole 2, both with magnitude m, and they are such that the line joining their centers, or that this angle is actually 45 degrees and this distance between them is d. We have to find the interaction energy of this configuration. What will that be? We know we have to use this formula, U equals to mu naught upon 4 pi r cube m1 m2 m1 dot m2 and 3 minus 3 m1 dot r hat into m2 dot r hat. Let's consider the first part, m1 bar dot m2 bar. This will be nothing but m1 m2 cos theta. Theta here will be the angle between m1 and m2. What is the angle between m1 and m2? m1 is pointing upwards, okay, this one. m2 is pointing towards the right. The angle between them is 90 degrees. So this will be cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So the first part will be 0. Second part, m1 dot r hat. m1 dot r hat. This will be this direction. m1 dot r hat is this direction. This direction is nothing but m cos 45. m1 magnitude is m into cos 45, that is m by root 2. What about m2 dot r hat? m2 dot r hat is also going to be, because m is in this direction, the line joining them is like this. This angle is again 45. So this direction is again m2 cos 45. m2 is, the magnitude is m, so it is again m, and you'll have cos 45. This is m by root 2. Put the values here. We'll have u will be equal to mu naught upon 4 by, distance is r, 4 pi, distance is r, that is d here, d cube 0 minus 3 m by root 2 into m by root 2, because the magnitude of both m1 and m2 is m. So that will come out to be minus 3 by 2 4 2s are 8 mu naught m squared upon pi d q. That is the interaction energy. A point to note here is that this m2 dot r hat, which is cos 45, this can also be cos theta minus 45. Theta is this angle, that is angle between m1 and m2. 45 is this angle. So theta here is 90 degrees. So 90 minus 45, this will be 45. So we will have here cos 45 here. And we are going to stop here now. In the next part, we will look into magnetization and bound currents. Peace be upon you.